Look who this is. Danny Graves. Danny Graves is back. Hunter Greene, not going to be back for a while. Hello, welcome to Riverfront Territory, part of the Foul Territory Network. I'm Trent Rosecrans. This is one of my co-hosts, Danny Graves. This revolving door of talent. Mason Estep will join us on our next episode, probably, maybe. We'll see. If it's not abundantly clear, this, which we call Riverfront Territory, part of the Foul Territory Network, is sometimes done by the seat of my pants. They may be ample, but they aren't planned. So anyway, hey, this kind of banter, you got to subscribe. For podcast listeners, you can subscribe anywhere you get podcasts. YouTube, right down there. You, I believe, Danny is. Did your son tell you the correct term is mash? Is that what you do?
Mash? Oh gosh, I don't listen to him when he talks that current jive.
Parenting advice from Danny Graves: don't listen to your children. Good to know. All right. Well, this is a baseball podcast, not a parenting podcast.
That's right.
So yeah, Danny, tough news for the Reds and for Hunter Greene. Going to be out with elbow surgery. Going to have elbow surgery sometime this week. It was one of those things. Like, it felt like this weekend was just. I wasn't in DC, but overall, it was just like this news everybody knew was coming, and then it was just like then the play on the field. They lose, get swept by the Nationals, a team around where they were in the standings. I guess they were slightly ahead. The Reds were, and now slightly behind. So I don't know. I don't know. Again, I don't think this team, and correct me if you think I'm wrong, is going to go to the playoffs. I have even in my in the most exciting part the other day, I think I said I didn't think this team would go to the playoffs. I am nothing if not honest, sometimes to a fault. This Reds team is now back in last place after being in third place in the division. They're back in third place, 56 and 61, 6.5 back of the wild card, way behind the Brewers, who are a team, back behind the Cardinals, Nationals, and Pirates. I think that group, and maybe even Miami, who comes in here soon. There could be, that's a team that you're going to need to beat if you want to keep up this thoughts, but it gets a lot harder after Miami, and that's a team that's ahead of you in the standings. So, Danny, what's that like? Here, let's kind of start over. Let's get with the, when you're on a team that is kind of around where the Reds were. You were on many of those teams.
Yes.
What is the rest of the season like in that clubhouse, and what are the best teams do, and what do some of the worst teams do?
Well, so a lot of times these teams that I was on, and we were pretty much out of it at this time of the year, it's still the team game, but it's the individual team game where you have to do what you have to do to be the best, so that guys around you can learn from you and try to be good as well. I know that sounds kind of weird, but we know this is an individual team sport, right? Like, everybody's out there for themselves to get these big contracts, but there is a certain time of the season where that's what it's about, because you are out of the race. And if you take care of that part of it at this point in the season, then other guys see that, and other guys might pick up on that. Young guys that get called up might learn how to be big leaguers from the veteran guys that are on these rosters when you're already out of it.
What does that mean? Tell me a little bit more about that. Like, and you were with a team that was not in that situation when you were a rookie. You were with a Cleveland team that was loaded. And so you've been on both sides of this. But what do you, as like a veteran, like, hey, you were the closer. Let's say you're the veteran closer. You're Emilio Pagan. If you're Emilio Pagan, what are you making sure you are doing over these last 2 months?
I'm making sure I'm available no matter how far out of the race that we are, because I know there's been times in the past that some guys just kind of bail on the end of the season because you're out of it, and they want to protect themselves, and they want to um, try to protect their, going into free agency or arbitration. But I think the best thing that I would think of that I did was make myself available no matter what the situation was, even if it, you know, not a safe situation. If we're out by 20 games, you still need to be available and do your job. You still need to do the stuff that you were preparing to do before games. Everything needs to stay the same. You can't change just because you're out of the race. It's Yeah, you're making plans sooner when the season's over, but you're still in it. You still have a job. You have to be competitive. And I think the guys that can't do that, it's you see it plain as day. The guys that aren't preparing themselves when it's at the end of the season and you're out of the race.
Yeah, that's so that's like just showing up every day, doing your routine, not taking days off. Those sound simple though. Like everybody does that, right?
It does sound simple, but is it simple? Like I'm telling you, that there's been a lot of times that I've played with guys and seen guys in other organizations that you know decide to just shut it down because they're out of it. So what are they playing for? Well,
What are you
you're
playing
playing for uh, pride. You're playing for the name on the front of your jersey. You're playing for 29 other teams to see how you are when you're going through adversity. You know, you, I think whether it's other teams, whether it's fans, whether it's your teammates, whether it's new guys coming up, they see how you carry yourself when your team sucks. They see how you react and see how you're going to perform, even though you're out of the race, even though you've been out of the race. I've been on teams that we were out of the race by the All-Star break, and we had no chance. But you still have to go out there and play, and you still have to go out there and perform. You get paid a lot of money every 2 weeks to play this game.
So yeah, it's actually pretty funny. I was having a discussion with someone the other day, a player, and one of the things they said, and I thought this was interesting, is like, I hate giving up runs. When I give up a run, he's like, my wife hates it, but that's like $400,000. You know, at the end of the year, they don't look if, say, you gave up, your ERA is 4.30, but hey, in games that counted, they were 2.3, or games we won, it was 2.0. They don't care about that. Arbitration really doesn't care about that.
Right.
So, I mean, and that's real life, because you know what? Baseball players do get paid a lot of money, but they don't get paid a lot of money for long. The majority of guys have a career that's really, I think that the majority, if you want to do the math, never make more than the minimum. And the minimum's a lot, but it's a lot for 1 year, not for 50 years or whatever career might last, or 30 years or whatever in any other field. And I think that's one misconception. And I know you don't have to get into it too far, but even when you have a big contract, it can go away as quickly as it can come to you.
Yeah. When I signed my 3-year deal, I felt like it was there and gone, like just like that. And next thing you know, it's like you're a free agent trying to find somebody to take you on to see if you can make a team at minimum wage. And back then, the minimum wage was definitely a lot lower. But yeah.
So was your
contracts
mortgage.
coming. Yeah, yeah. Especially when you have an ex-wife. So, anyways,
divorce is not cheap.
No.
That is absolutely true.
Right. So yeah, I mean,
you think a wedding's expensive? Wait till you get to the divorce.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, I mean, That's a whole nother show.
Man, we hit all of it. Parenting, relationship. I mean,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
full service here, Danny.
Yeah, I've got so much to say about my advice for marriages, but that's not what this show's about.
This show's about ads, and we'll go to one here, and I'm going to do this.
Science experiment for the 1 minute we have to tell you about why we love Quint's electrolytes, including watermelon salt, raspberry salt, and I'm holding a citrus salt. Just opened it. I'm going to pour some powder into my water, shake it up. And AJ, why do you love it?
I love Quince because after a long night out, a long day at the gym, a long walk in this Florida humidity, it tastes great and it gives me all the electrolytes I need. Why? Sugar-free, stevia-free, keto-approved, and tastes sweet because of that delicious fermented rice.
It does taste really good. I'm drinking it right now while we talking about it. It's also made in the USA, rigorously third-party tested. Give your body what it really needs to stay hydrated. Go to quince.com/foul for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/FOUL for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/foul. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Perfect timing.
I mean, I threw you off the boat. I might as well have thrown a life preserver. I got to do that.
Yeah, you did.
When you push somebody overboard, at least throw them a life preserver.
Yeah. You totally threw me off the cliff and said, okay, I'll help you back up.
You're still wet, but
yeah. That
all
was
right.
awesome.
So that's good. Let's go into the Hunter stuff now.
Okay.
All right. Welcome back. Welcome back to Foul Territory, Welcome back to Riverfront Territory, part of the Foul Territory Network. We are a well-oiled machine here. So, Danny, this was a big week. The Hunter Greene news. First, I'm going to go off. What we know is he's going to have surgery sometimes this week. And actually, you weren't here, but I was talking about this with Mason, one of the last shows. I learned a lot when I went and watched TJ Antone have Tommy John surgery. Besides that, my joke to him in the pre-op was, I thought Homer Bailey had the worst name for a pitcher I'd ever heard of until, well, TJ.
TJ3.
Yeah. So, you know, and he was hopped up on painkillers, so he thought it was funny.
Good.
It's always how the best audience.
Your timing is impeccable. With everything.
It's that's hey, we're not getting back to divorce. Anyway, so go back to this subject. You know, it was really cool though. Like one of the things I vividly remember, because a lot of times when I'm doing a story, I'm trying to like process, and I can be a pain in the ass. I will text people like, well, what were you eating that time? No, that's, you know, it's like a waitress. I get the full order. I'm like, oh, did you want a salad with that? Or, you know, Caesar Garden, what kind of salad?
Did you want
kind
croutons
of dressing?
on that
How
too?
do you want your steak? Yeah, exactly. You know, and so like I do a lot of those things, and I remember talking to TJ before this, and Kelsey, his wife, who, again, like, man, that guy's story is unbelievable. And there's a big reason why he was able to get through 3, and that was the support of his family, including his wife, his mom, his dad, his in-laws. I've met them all, and like they've all been a big part of it. And you know how that is. When you have that support behind you at home, you can concentrate on these things. Totally. So anyway, that morning that he was getting his 3rd elbow surgery, they were watching, because they're in the pre-operating room, in the pre-op room, and had Netflix on, and they were watching the show Is It Cake? And Danny, because we talked about this a little bit beforehand, you've not seen the show. But basically people make these cakes that look like objects. And the contestants has to then say, is it cake or is it not cake? And you don't know until they take a knife. And if the knife goes in, it's cake. If the knife doesn't, it's not cake. So that is actually, when I was talking to Dr. Krimchak before and after the surgery, it's kind of what happens in these elbow surgeries, especially if it's a revision. You know, it is, well, in the revisions, which is the second time. And Hunter Greene had Tommy John as a minor leaguer, as did TJ Antone. Then TJ had it as a big leaguer, and then again as a big leaguer. But, you know, imaging can only tell you so much, especially with something that's already been surgically repaired. So what Doc Krimchak told me, and other orthopedic surgeons, my brother-in-law's an orthopedic surgeon, all these, you know, everybody I've talked to, like, you can feel pretty good that you know what it is from the imaging, but you don't know until the knife goes in whether it's cake or not. And so, like, you know, they could find it, like with TJ's third one, he kind of like tightened it up and put the internal brace. The ligament was actually still pretty good, so that's why it's a hybrid Tommy John revision. If you want to get technical on how many Tommy Johns he's had, I do not argue with someone who's gone under the knife that many times. So what I'm saying is, like, you're not exactly sure what is going to have to be done until you can see it three-dimensionally right there with your eyes. And a surgeon trained to do this, who've done millions. Dr. Neil Elatrash will do Hunter Greene's, and he's in LA. Keith Meister did Blake Dunn. Blake Dunn had it was still okay. So Blake Dunn, Reds outfielder, had it, I think, a week or two ago. And Keith Meister did that one. And he did the internal brace. And so because it was still connected and whatever, it was just more, instead of like a full Tommy John, it was more like a strengthening. And so he's hoping that, based on, you know, Dr. Meister told him about Corey Seager. It's like, you know, you could be ready for the start of next season because he's a position player and because it wasn't the full Tommy John. So, you know, as a position player, it's more bulk. You don't need to be as precise as you are a pitcher, and you're not throwing as much.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's a whole different animal what the elbow of a position player does versus the elbow of a pitcher.
Yeah. Position player's not like manipulating anything this way, that way. Yeah.
Do you still like when you pick up a baseball to sign or anything, is it almost like you're searching for your grip and you're starting and everything?
Totally.
Yeah. I figured.
Yeah. So I'll grab a ball while we're here. Yeah. So if I'm signing a ball, like, I'll feel around the laces and see which laces I like, but I'll touch a four-seamer and I'm like, no, in my head. And then I go to two-seamer and then I find a place to sign it. Like, because I always got to feel, I know it's crazy. I always have to feel the laces for the two-seamer, see how they feel.
Well,
or I'm going to ask for another ball.
And my kid has this ball that he saved up to do it. Danny looks at it like he's examining it from the umpire, and then he just kind of like Lucas Sims it out of the way. Nah, kid, give me another ball. Yeah. Don't you know who I am? You know how many saves I've got in the show?
If it doesn't say Bud Selig on it, I'm not signing it.
Yeah. I would love that. Like, kid gives you a ball and you kind of like do it and do the whole thing and then just toss it. That would be amazing. That's the kind of thing a big leaguer like Danny Graves would do. Former closer like Danny Graves.
Hey,
you know that Kenny Powers was based on Danny Graves.
Just with facial hair. Yeah.
It'd be like if you merged these two shots.
Hey, next time we're together in person, if somebody comes up, like just randomly ask for an autograph, I'm gonna fake toss the ball.
As happens when you're Danny Graves.
Yeah. I'm gonna say, can you get this on video so we can show the world that I need a certain ball?
This is not official from 1998 to 2010, so
yeah. I don't sign American League balls. How about that?
But you were in the American League.
I know, but I hated the American League. Hated it.
I mean, and you didn't even have to face Cleveland.
No, I got
Could
to
you
play
imagine
with
facing
them.
that lineup?
No, it would have been miserable. Yeah. You know how?
So
Look,
anyway,
I know we're going off, but I got one quick nugget about that.
we're
So-
going off topic. We've never done that, Danny. This is new
Never.
territory. So let's continue to blaze this territory.
Yeah. So 96 was rookie year, but the 97, Matt Williams joined Cleveland. He became our third baseman. That was when Jim Thome moved over to first base. So, and you know, this
How'd
is
that work out
Matt
for him?
Williams. Well, he was the first base.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Jim
think
Thome.
that did all right.
Never heard of him.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think he did okay doing that, moving from third. But so Matt Williams came over, and I was so intimidated by him. Just he had all those great years. The strike year was fantastic, and like I just thought he was just a mean looking dude. So we're throwing live BP to the hitters, and he's the first one I'm facing that season in spring training. First pitch I throw, I smoke him in the shoulder, giant bruise on his arm, and I thought he was going to get so mad at me and scream at me. He's like, "No, it's all right. Come on, throw some more." And from then on, he was like the nicest dude to me ever. Like,
So
it was so bizarre.
I think you were gone, but the guy who I just remember being like, "Oh crap, that guy's still pretty intimidating," was Jeff Conine.
Yeah, I wasn't.
So you weren't there when he was with the Reds. I think that was
No.
07 was his first year, or 08, or anyway. So you weren't there, but it was like, oh, Jeff Conine's a serious dude. He runs triathlons and stuff now. And then Scott, yeah, but nice guy. It was just really funny. And what was really even funnier was Jeff Conine had a presence. Still has a presence. Last time I saw him. Mr. Marlin, speaking of.
Yeah.
And he was intimidated by Rob Butcher.
Well, lots of people are intimidated by Rob Butcher.
The former Reds president of media relations. Great guy. One of the all-time
one of my
best at his
favorite-
job.
Yep.
But
One of my
took his
favorite
job
people
seriously,
ever.
as he should.
Yeah.
And he took care of. Actually, the great thing about Rob is Rob. He's still alive and he's still the same great guy. He treats everybody the same, and he's not going to sugarcoat things. So, if it's Jeff Conine that's wrong, if it's like me or whoever, he's going to say, "No, this is wrong. This is right. I've known you forever, but you're wrong." And or at least here's the rule. Here's my thinking, and it's very much based on what the rules are. And he is a very rule-oriented guy, and he had to be because that's part of that job. And a lot of people were so used to being coddled that when Rob said, "No, these are the rules. This is how everybody is treated. This is how everybody plays. It's an even playing field." Some of the more entitled people got annoyed by that. And then the rest of us just saw it and accepted and appreciated it because it wasn't about who you were. It was about what you were supposed to be doing. So anyway, how about that tangent?
Yeah, no, but that's a great tangent. We could have a whole show about Rob Butcher.
Oh my God. I had a old podcast of mine, the C-Dot Show, when I was at the Inquirer. I did an episode with Rob, and the stories are amazing. He's just the best. We should have Rob on.
I was just going to say we should have him on.
Oh, definitely. I would love just to hear you guys talk about it. Because, we've all been on different sides of things, right? And so I think it's fascinating. I don't know if anybody else would, but hey, I would. And that's what this is about.
I think people would.
Obviously.
No, I think people would enjoy that because they actually see what else goes on behind closed doors.
Yeah,
the way it should be going on.
I did a thing once. Actually, it was when we were doing that podcast. Because Rob does things right and is so respected. He worked the World Series every year. Major League Baseball said, "We want Rob Butcher to work the World Series." And the Reds weren't in it, so he wasn't dealing with the Reds. So I went through and looked at AP and Getty photos and found 10 different ones where it is one of his his roles was to get the MVP after Game 7 and get them for the TV. So in all these photos, you go to places where they have these the framed newspapers and all this stuff from the World Series. There are so many of them that you'll see like the MVP like celebrating and talking, and right behind them is Rob Butcher.
Yeah.
Making sure where things are going, and like while everybody else is like partying, Rob's like doing his job. And
Secret Service.
Focused. Yeah, he looks like a Secret Service guy.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty fun.
Let's talk Fabletics, shall we? They have apparel for every season. We're wearing it as we talk about it. It's soft, it's comfortable. I wear it on the show sometimes on FT. What else do you love about it, Kratz?
Well, I have it on right now, and I'm all about quality. But you know what? You know how good your clothes are when you're a parent, and your kids keep stealing all of it. My daughter stole the sweatshirt. My son stole one of my T-shirts. So it's got to be nice looking.
And if it gets a little bit chillier, then it's layering season, and they've got layers for the fall. Shop now at fabletics.com/foul to get 70 to 80% off everything when you sign up as a new VIP. Take a quick style quiz and be sure to select foul when prompted to unlock this offer. This is a limited time offer, so do not wait. Again, that's fabletics.com/FOUL for 70 to 80% off everything as a new VIP.
So Danny, another thing I wanted to ask you about with Hunter Greene news, and this is a guy who's going to miss all of this season, and I'll most likely quite a bit of next year. And I also think like when that happens, you can't. That's the fallacy of when this guy comes back from surgery, that's going to be like an acquisition of the trade deadline. No, because it's never quite the same. You have to, everybody else is in mid-season form, and that's a reason. That's a term for a reason.
Yeah.
And when you get a guy at the trade deadline, usually they're in mid-season form. And when you get a guy back from the injured list, they're not. And that's a real thing. But I wanted to ask you were on some teams, some good teams with some really high expectations. And then you have a superstar type player go down and lost for the season. This happened with you with Ken Griffey Jr. What is that like in a clubhouse?
Very deflating. The first time it happened, all those years of running into walls and chasing balls down in Seattle, it's like, okay, this was bound to happen, but he's going to be just fine when he comes back. Kremchek repaired and everything's going to be good to go. And it's like, okay, then there's another little tweak. It was very saddening to see this happen year after year, because I love Junior as a person. Forget that he's one of the greatest ever to play, but like one
of the greatest ever to be around. Yeah.
Yeah. Just love the guy. Yeah. And so it felt so awful anytime any little thing would happen to him. But Junior was the type that, he wanted to be out there more than anybody. And he wanted to make sure that everybody knew that he wanted to be out there more than anybody else. And I think sometimes maybe he pushed it too much, or maybe came back too soon, or whatever the reasons were. It's like he wanted to play. And you obviously admire that about him, but it's just, I think as a clubhouse, you just get so deflated because you immediately think, gosh, what if we had Junior for a whole season? What if Junior played full seasons? He might have 800 career home runs. There's all these what ifs about his career, and he's still one of the greatest that's ever played,
Right. He was still I think he missed unanimity, becoming the first unanimous selection of the Hall of Fame, but I think it was by 3 votes. I voted for him, for the record. Even though I teased him that I might not, but I did.
You know what? I would have bet my life, anything that I have, that you voted for him. So there was never a doubt.
I mean, my vote usually has meaning behind it and thought. Whether you agree with the conclusion or not, there is a thought there, and it's based on that.
Yeah, you did your homework. Yeah, you dove into the cake to see what was in the cake before you had to prove that it was real cake.
There you go. I put my whole face in that cake. This is the result.
Yeah.
So anyhow,
I don't
tough.
know what. Yeah, I don't know what the team is feeling with the Hunter Greene. Obviously, when you get a chance to get back in the clubhouse with them, you'll see what the aura is. But even when Junior got back from surgeries and he's just rehabbing or doing stuff, it was still like, man, I wish he could play. This sucks. This sucks that he's not playing.
And then when you see, like, for a starter like that, it's like, that fifth day, no matter who's pitching, unless maybe it's Chase Burns at this point, but no matter who's pitching, you're like, man, if we had Hunter this day, or if you still have the, man, can you imagine the Hunter Chase Burns back to back, which we actually just have not seen very much.
No,
like those two guys healthy at the same time, or in the big leagues, or because Chase Burns' career's been like this. But I don't even know how much they've been in the rotation all that much. Because I think Hunter was on the IL last year when Chase came up. So I might look into that. Like how many starts pitched within 5 days of each other.
Yeah,
started.
It can't be more than a handful
at the end of the year. No. Maybe these 5 from this year that Hunter made, and maybe 2 or 3 last year. I think you can count it on both hands.
Right. And that's, I mean, that's tough for an organization, even for a fan base that has these 2 great arms. And that's not to discredit anybody else in the rotation. Yeah. I mean, cause this, I may be speaking out of turn here, but I mean, you think of like Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling with Arizona. Mm-hmm. Not saying this is what these 2 could have been, but you have those thoughts of, man, these 2 could dominate for a long time.
Mm-hmm. And, like you think of those Braves teams.
Well, they always had like 4 or 5 of them.
Well, they had that's a good point. I mean, they really did. I mean, Steve Avery was no slouch, and he was like 5 on that.
Yeah. And he was like 20 years old.
Yeah. Our old buddy Kent Merker.
Yeah, Merck Daddy. No hitter for the Braves.
We need to get Merck on here. One of the most singular, most entertaining human beings on the planet.
Yeah. We'll have a PG version and then then an R version.
We'll have the OnlyFans version. Danny Graves on OnlyFans, so you can get out your OF name, and we'll be there. So yeah. Jeez, we just need to stop. So if if we ever get our stuff together, subscribe. It'll tell you. Subscribe on your podcast player of choice, Apple Podcast or Google Play or whatever, Spotify. Also on YouTube, you can come see this kind of hijinks and Danny and I talking, making each other laugh, because that's
mash
all that we plan. Mash the button that says subscribe right down there. Get us to 1,000, because that would really help us out. And, hopefully we can get, all the kinks worked out. But so far, not so bad. So for Riverfront Territory, part of the Foul Territory Network, I am Trent Rosecrans. He is Danny Graves. And thanks for joining us. We'll see you again really soon.